Hi students, a very pleasant and warm greetings to you all. Hope you are doing good. Last session we have seen the generations of computer, right? In generations of computer we have seen all the first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth generation computer. And I think you have learned that portion also. If you haven't learned, learn it today itself. And today's work is you have to write the generations of computer question in your note. Okay, you have to put all these tabulations and you have to give separate column for serial number, generation, year, and the component which is used in that particular generation, and then the merits and demerits. Column wise you have to draw and you have to write it down in your note. Okay, and today we are going to see about some computing techniques and data and information topic, and we'll try to cover the components of computer also. Okay, so sixth generation computing. In the sixth generation, this computer could be defined as an era of intelligent computers. That means here in the sixth generation only we use the artificial neural network. That means one of the most dramatic changes, that is a big changes is done, that is the explosive growth in the wide area network and natural language processing. That means whatever we talk will be understood by the computer through this artificial intelligence, right? This provides the ability to develop the computer program to understand the human language. So this artificial intelligence, that is the AI, helps the computer to understand our language, and we'll be able to understand from the computer side also. They also will talk, or it will respond to us in our language itself. So that is the NLP, natural language processing. And the next one is data and information. We all know that computer means it is an electronic device, and whatever input data we give, it will just execute the set with the help of the set of instructions which we give, and the desired output will be given to us in a speed, in a fast manner, right? So then our brain, this computer will work very fast, right? So this way computers are very versatile as they do a lot of tasks, and it can store a large amount of data like weather forecasting, booking airlines, railways, movie tickets, or even playing games or editing some videos or audios, or it can calculate any big data, and so many things this computer can do, right? So here the main thing you have to know is about the data and information. Okay, data means that is defined as the unprocessed collection of raw facts. Data, that means unprocessed, the raw fact which is not at all processed, the collection of the raw fact which is useful for communication, interpretation and processing. The raw data, the raw fact which is used for communicating, interpretation and processing are known as data. Okay, and information means this is the collection of facts from which conclusions may be drawn. That means if you are having a sentence like I am Janisha Imansi, means from that you can know that my name is Janisha Imansi, right? So you can collect some information from that particular fact, means it is a information, and the processed data, or it may be any kind of data. If the data is not processed, or this is used for the processing or communication process, means it is a piece of data. Okay, for example, data means Janisha, or it may be one. Simply any one value or anything will be there. We can say it as a data, and if if it has a meaning and if it gives you some information, it is a information. So you would have understood the difference between the data and information, right? Information, in simple words, we can say that the data is a raw fact that is processed to give a meaningful or structured or ordered information. Okay, the raw fact which is there with before processing is known as data, and after processing If it gives you a meaningful thing, means it is the information. Okay, this information, here in your book they have given Kavita is 16 years old. This information is about Kavita and it gives us a message that she is 16 years old. This conversation of data is changed to a information. This is called data processing, right? Simply we will have 16 and we will have another on data as years and another on data as Kavita. So this will be processed into a sentence and we are getting the information that Kavita is 16 years old. Understood? And one more time they have given the definition for computer using this data and information. A computer is an electronic device that takes the raw data, that is the unprocessed data, as an input from the user and process it under the control of a set of instructions, or we can say it as a program which produces a output or a result, and we can save it for future uses also. So this is the correct definition for computer after you are learning data and information. Now you know what is data and what is information, right? So with the help of this data and information, you can define the computer as computer is an electronic device that takes the raw data or unprocessed data as an input from the user and process it under the control of a set of instructions called programs and produces a output or a result and saves it for future use. This is the correct definition for computer in terms of data and information. Okay, so you know what is the data, what is the information, and you would have got an idea about the sixth generation computing also. And now we are going to see the next important 5 mark, that is components of a computer. Okay, computer means we'll have hardware and software. As we have seen in the introductory session, you know what is hardware and software, right? So I'll just remind you again. Computer means it is a combination of hardware and software. If hardware is not there, there is no computer. If software is not there, that is just a TV, or it's like a simple book or a table only. If the software is there only, that hardware will work. If hardware is not there, with the simple software, it will be like some notes only. We can't process it, right? So hardware and software are equally important to function the computer. Okay, hardware means that is the physical component of a computer. It may be like a keyboard, a monitor, a memory device, a motherboard, whatever components you see which is there inside a computer, or which is helping us to process the data in computer, means these are all the physical component are hardware, and software is the set of programs or the set of instructions, the codings and all are software. Okay, hardware is a physical component and software means it's a set of instructions. Okay, so both this hardware and software together only will make the computer system to function. Okay, let's have a look at the functional components of a computer. Every task, whichever task you give to the computer, it follows a technique called IPO cycle. That is nothing but input, process, output cycle. That's what we are seeing from the first. If you have to give a input, it will process and it will give you the output, right? So here also we have IPO cycle. This needs certain input process that will get the input and it will produce the output through some output unit. So input unit means it takes the input. Processing unit, central processing unit, that is CPU, means it process the data, and the output unit is used to produce the output. Okay, so the memory unit holds the data and instructions during the process. Here they have given a beautiful block diagram which represents the whole components, basic things about a computer. Okay, where if they are asking the components of computer, this diagram is main. Okay, how to draw this diagram and only how to explain. The diagram, the components of computer will have input unit, output unit. In between we'll have the processing unit. In processing unit we have two sets. First set is memory unit, and the another one set is processing unit. So in processing unit we'll have control unit, ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, and internal memory, main memory, secondary memory. Okay, so in components of computer you can just separate this into three parts: input unit, output unit. In between we'll have processing unit. First processing unit is control unit and ALU, and then the memory unit, it is internal memory, main memory, and secondary memory. Right? Input unit. First, let's see the definition for input unit. Input unit, from the word itself, you can know that if you are going to feed any form of data into a computer, and if it must be stored in a memory unit for further processing, means it is done only with the help of input unit. Okay, and whatever data you have to give inside the computer, we'll use input unit only. For example, I'll say if you have to type anything, you need keyboard, right? If you want to select something, you need mouse. If you want to scan a document, there you need scanner. These are all the input units. In your book, they have given the example as keyboard and mouse alone, and so many other input devices are also there. You can write it down when you are noting in your note. Whatever form of data, if you want to give, we have different types of devices, and those devices which will feed any form of data into the computer is known as input unit. Okay, input unit means it's used to feed any form of data to the computer, which is stored in the memory unit and also used for the further processing. Okay, that is input unit. Input unit means we will feed any form of data into the computer, and this can be stored in the memory unit and it can be used for further processing also. And the example for input unit is keyboard, mouse. And the next one is central processing unit. Central processing unit, that is CPU, means it is a major component which interprets and executes software instructions. That means CPU is the main thing which will take the set of instructions and process it, right? It will control all the operations of these input unit, output unit, and memory unit also. Okay, so this central processing unit only controls all the operations of all these units, including the memory unit, input unit, output unit, everything. It will accept the data as input and it will process the data accordingly as our instruction says or our program says, and it will provide the result. If you are giving any input, it must be a code, right? Only this CPU will know the binary data. That means it will just process and accept the binary data as input, and it will process the data according to the set of instructions or the programs, and it will provide the result as per our language, as per our understandable language, and it will give us the result, right? The CPU has three main components: control unit, arithmetic and logic unit, that is ALU, and memory unit, right? We'll see this units in detail now. ALU means arithmetic and logic unit. Arithmetic and logic unit is a part of a CPU where various computing functions are performed on data. Okay. Here this ALU will perform some arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and some logical operations also. The result of an operation is stored in internal memory of CPU. Okay. The logical operations of ALU promote the decision making ability of a computer. Here ALU means this is a part of a CPU where this computing functions are done on the data, and ALU means it will have some arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and also logical operations. The result of a operation is stored in internal memory of CPU. The logical operations of ALU promote the decision making ability of a computer. And the next one is control unit. Control unit is controls the flow of data between the CPU, memory, input output devices, and also it controls all the entire operation of a computer. Okay, control unit means controls the flow of data. You know what is data and you know what is CPU, right? So control unit controls the flow of data between the CPU, memory, input-output devices, and it controls the entire operations of the computer. Okay, and the next one is output unit. Output unit means this is also a hardware which is used to convey the information to the user in an understandable form. That means through which device you are getting the output, we'll say it as the output unit. Okay, you can say an example, monitor. Through the monitor only you are seeing the output, means you can say the monitor as output unit, right? And another output unit is printer. Through printer we can get a printout output, right? So that is also a output unit. And so many other output units are also there. You just think in which form you are getting the output and through which device you are receiving the output. That particular device you can say it as a output unit. Okay, so you can write down other examples also. And the next one is memory unit. Memory unit means here in memory we have two types, primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory means it is a temporarily stored programs will be there inside this temporary memory. That is primary memory. Okay, and the data when the instructions are ready to execute, this temporary memory will be storing the data. Okay, when this instructions are ready to execute. The secondary memory means it is used to store the data permanently. Primary means temporarily storing data. That means the set of programs or set of instructions which is given to process a data, that is temporarily stored memory unit, that is primary memory. And if a data is stored permanently, it is secondary memory. Okay, the primary memory is volatile and it is the content is lost when the power is off. Okay, suddenly if the power is gone, if you don't have inverter, the data will be lost. That is random access memory is the example for main memory. Okay, and the secondary memory is non-volatile. That means the content or the details which are there inside the system will not be gone once the power is switched off. Okay, so the example for this secondary memory are a hard disk, CD-ROM, DVD-ROM and all are the example for permanent memory or a secondary memory. Okay, secondary memory is a permanent memory, right? So here you know the difference between primary memory and secondary memory, right? Primary memory means temporary memory. It will store the programs or the instructions which are given to execute in the input, and it will be helpful for us to get the output, right? So primary memory means it is a temporary memory and a volatile memory. Volatile memory means once the system is off, the data will be gone. Here, if you consider the secondary memory, if a system is off, still the data will be saved in your computer only even after this system goes switched off. So the example for the secondary memory are hard disk, CD-ROM and DVD-ROM. Okay, so today we have seen the main component of computer. Here we have seen about input unit, output unit and central processing unit, right? And about the input output devices and all we'll see in the next session. Okay, before that you just go through these components of computer. You just read these components of computer, data, information definitions, and also sixth generation computing paragraph also you just read it. Mainly you must read components of a computer. Inside that you will have input unit, central processing unit, arithmetic and logic unit, control unit, output unit, memory unit. In memory unit we learned about primary memory, secondary memory, and we have seen the brief explanation for this memory unit, output unit, input unit and processing unit also. And so just go through this before attending the next session. And today I have given you a work to write down the generations of computer in your note, right? Just write it down and learn it also. Okay, next session we'll see about input and output devices. Thank you for your valuable time. Stay home, stay safe, take care, listen all the classes and try to learn the portions now itself so that it will be useful for your final exams. Okay? Thank you. Take care. Bye.